Alrighty, let's get going. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. The music you're just listening to was Savior of the Sky by A1. Just another classic from A1. You know, like, I know A1's sound, you know, like, I could listen to a Eurobeat track and be like, oh yeah, this is probably A1. But I don't think I could name a single one of their songs, if that makes any sense. Like, they all sound so similar, right? Like, they have that super thick A1 feeling to it, that you can know it's that, but after that point, you've completely lost me. I know it's Eurobeat, I know it slaps, I know it's A1. That's all I need to know. So, today, we're going to be playing West of Loathing. First thing here is super thick. What did I even say was super thick, man? I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. How's it going, Tyler? So yeah, we're playing West of Loathing. It's a Western game. I presume there's a little bit of loathing, and that's about all I know about this game. I quite literally know nothing about this game, other than there's stickmen, there's a cowboy guy, and it's funny. So that's all I know going in. I've heard it's good from a couple of people, so we're trying it out. You're okay, just cooked a pizza, ready to chill out? Heck yeah, that's a good place to be. I hope you enjoy your pizza. So yeah, let's get going here. Do your darndest, thank goodness. There she is. Oh, it's very large. I think I still have everything scaled for Reciteer. Oh. Oh, it looks like my USB drive is still doing the thing. Let me remove that for a second. I think I removed the wrong one. I did. Heck. Okay, I'll just leave both of those up for now. The flicker slide, yeah. If I stand up to deal with my computer, I'm out of my webcam, and you'll see I start dancing in a not very beautiful way. So I recently bought 2 USB drives that are like 128 gigs, because I have 2 USBs that are both full that were like 8 gigs. So I thought, hey, what the heck? And one of them's just not working, which is kind of sad. But you know what? We'll deal with that later. Oh, we got Rila Goomer in the chat. How's it going, boy? Okay, Western time. Bro, I didn't know this was an aim training game. Beautiful. You got Miss McDonald's. I'm happy for you. I hope it's sufficient to your taste. It jiggles. The physics, man. Can I make it like... No, I can't go any further. Okay. Wanted for protagonizing Festus. 1090 meat for reward. What's going on here? This is character customization. Change your character. I'm making the meat go up. Oh, this is changing the character. I see. You get male or female. And then changing names. What's with all the targets though? Just changing the numbers. Oh, will be a right cowboy lad. It's a good name. I like Fozzie Barkley. That's good. I think if you straight up shoot the names, you can type in your name. Oh. I think I'm good with Fozzie Barkley though. Go with that. Ready to get going, are you? Yeah. Let's go. Strangest dream was choosing a character class. Cowpuncher, Bean Slinger, or Snake Oiler. It's not like melee, magic, or ranged. I feel like I'm more of a cowpuncher. Cowpunchers solve their problems with their fists, whether it's shaking them at a disagreeable feller in a disreputable saloon, or using them to punch a slightly more disagreeable feller in a slightly less reputable saloon. You've heard that cowpunchers are in demand out west since the cows came home. It stands to reason. The cows aren't going to punch themselves after all. What do you want to say? Magic and cooking are inextricably intertwined in Loathing. The Beanslinger's a mystical master of both. Heard there's a shortage of cooks out west since the cows came home, due to most of the cooks having been brutally killed by the cows. These cows seem pretty rude. Snake oilers rely on their moxie and chutzpah to tame snakes, their fearlessness to extract potent oils from those snakes, and their cleverness to manufacture and sell potions made from those oils. You've heard snake oilers are doing really well out west since the cows came home. Everybody needs potions and hope in these dark days, and also out west is where all the best snakes live. Naturally. I think I'm straight to the point. I'm gonna punch these cows. This weird poster appeared here one night. Strange. Goodbye, bed. Time to head west to chase my real dreams. Otis Smith and the Curse of Vulture Canyon. Curse of Rattlesnake Cove. Ben Hardy and the Ancient Tower. Seem like classics. Oh hey. Walking Stupid. This book tells the tale of a renegade sheriff who is really, really bad at walking. I now know how to walk really stupidly. Nice. He accidentally dropped the book and then ruined it by stepping on it 30 times while I try and pick it up. Whoops. Is that not how you say chutzpah? Is it like chutzpah? I don't know. I don't know anything about Hebrew pronunciation of anything. How do we walk weird? Oh, stupid walking. Some of them aren't even really walks. Not the chaz and cheese. Isn't it like chutzpah? Chutzpah? Yeah, right. Oh, I see. So we walk strange now. I'm okay with this. Comb my hair one last time. Oh, there goes the music. Hey Russell, how you doing? I miss you, buddy. Give him a cricket. Grab a cricket from your cricket bag and feed it to Russell. Coos appreciatively and nuzzles your hand. Goodbye, or maybe it's time for you to leave too. Do we take Russell with us? It's time for you to leave too. Open your bedroom window, not pictured, and I'll latch the door to Russell's cage. He winks at you, caws one last time, then flies away to the west. Is this foreshadowing? Yeah, Russell Crowe. I guess it is Russell Crowe, hey. Nothing on the hair arc today. Unfortunate. Gonna miss Mom's cooking. Is my mom here? No? Is Mom's pie safe? It keeps all her pies safe. Read one of your brother's weird books and flip through it. Über die Darstellbarkeit einer Funktion durch ein trigonometrisch Reich. No wonder I never know what he's talking about. Let's see, what does this say? This is a trigonomic function. That's all I know. He loves this game so much. I'm glad you enjoy it. Investigation of laws of thought on which are founded the mathematical theories of logic and probabilities. I think it's about math, maybe? Over the something. Oh, it changed. There's a lot of them. How many different languages do you need to know to learn about numbers? You only need the language you love. Kid Brother's toy box. He'd love stuff like this, and we take it. It's ours now. You already had it most of the way solved. We forgot the last couple of moves. Oh, yeah, can't mess it up again. So tidy. Miss meals with the family. Miss Mom's cooking. Oh, is this Mom? Mom smiles warmly as you approach. I'm leaving now, Mom. Gonna miss you, kiddo. Oh, before you leave, I got you a present. Present? Yeah, it's that book you wanted for Crimbo. I know it's early, but... Ooh, we get to choose a skill. Is that what's happening here? Picking locks, desert survival, or bartering. I feel like I'm a sneaky boy. We gotta pick some locks. That's the one, enjoy it. Be careful out there. Write us a letter when you can. I will, Mom. Comprehensive Guide to Advanced Lockpicking. A whole chapter on tumblers. Whoa. This is your starting build too? Whoa. After you're done reading it, you donate it to a local orphanage. Soon those orphans will be able to make their escape. Go, orphans, go. No time to screw around in the woods, time to head west. I guess that's east, isn't it? Your father morosely jabs at the haystack. Does the hat fit him? I didn't get a good look at him. Don't think it fits you, Dad. I'll grow into it. It's time for me to leave. His lips quivers a little. Listen, I want you to have this. It's your grandmother's brass knuckles. Thanks, Dad. Good luck out there. Be sure to say goodbye to your mother. I did. Goodbye, Dad. Brass knuckles? Good for punching? Your grandmother was a force to be reckoned with. Your brother Rufus is standing here looking nervous. He's pretty good at looking nervous. I hand him the puzzle, and he starts fidgeting with it. Hey Rufus, time for me to head west. I still don't understand why you're leaving. He's got a point, you know. Why are you going west anyway? To help people seek my fortune or get off this stupid farm. I think I'm out here to seek my fortune. There's just no opportunity here, kid. If I'm gonna make something of myself, gotta go where I can make some meat. But it's so dangerous. 60% of the people who go west get killed within a year, and that statistic is from before the cows came home. Good, ambitious, or a dick. Exactly. I'll be okay. You worry about taking care of Mom and Dad. I'll worry about me. So is so. Still think you'll be dead by Grimbo. I'll miss you, Rufus. Okay. Give him a playful punch on the arm. Oh, we gotta find a needle? Sorry. Classic. Not for sewing, it's for picking lots. Ah. That'll come in handy. He's just barely holding together. I'm sorry, Dad. Go west, young man? Yes. Real yeehaw hours, yeah. Miles later. It's pretty far west. Well, the bad news is that you fell off the cart and got knocked out for a couple of hours. And now you've got no ride, no meat, and no prospects. Good news is that you're in a town rather than a gulch somewhere. Not much of a town, though. That's a dusty turnip. What's up, dude? I'll tell you when I've had enough. Sign on the door reads, "Gone drink." Was this a cow pie? Oh no. Saying good swings, this is boring swings. It's walking to the saloon. A crazy-eyed guy sitting to the left of the door shrieks and waves at you to get your attention. Hey, where's your hat, taken of it? Well, you can't drink in here without a hat. Tain't proper. Points to the take a hat and leave a hat box next to the door. You look through the door, look through the hat box, and find a sturdy-looking Stetson. It looks like something you'd wear. Grab the hat and put it on. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Pete. Gives you a friendly, if somewhat twitchy nod. Say, feller. You heading west? If you want some company, I'd be more than happy to come along. Just let me know. Well, no pressure. Good to know. Twitchy man will come along with us if we need. Oh, what do you say, Pete? Who, me? Well, heck, I say all kinds of things. For instance, gadzooks, some signed wide and claim jumper jump McLean. Uh-huh. I see. He's skating. You take this guy's booze? What's that? You can jump? These two are playing poker, or at least trying to. They keep looking back and forth from their hands to the how to play poker card that came from the deck, biting their lips and concentrating real hard. So you can play with them to get some meat. You have a hat. What would you do with two? I could wear two hats. I should probably leave them alone. I have to. Woman glares at you. You should probably just let her drink. Howdy, I'm Fozzie. Howdy, Fozzie, I'm Horace. Nice to meet you. What do you do? I'm the town hostler. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but how's that working for you? Oh, those horses are just flying out the door. So business is booming. Nice. No, I mean the horses keep running away. Haven't sold one in ages. Oh, is that why you're here drinking instead? Yep. And me being in here drinking instead of watching the horses is probably how they keep escaping. It's one of those vicious circle things. Well, I'm in need of a horse. Do you have any left? One. Kind of a boring one, but it's got 4 legs and a back to sit on. Come see you at the stable. I'll be happy to show it to you. There he goes. You walk up to the bar and wait patiently for the bartender to notice you. While you're waiting, you see a sign taped to the back wall reading, "Reward for lost mugs, 25 meat each." The bartender finally notices you. Howdy, cowboy. Howdy, barcape. Name's Fozzie. What brings you to our little backwater? Oh, the usual. I came out west to make my fortune. Not having much luck so far, though. Any work around these parts? Unfortunately, Boring Springs already has more people in it than jobs. It's more of an errand town, if you catch my meaning. If you're looking for a real job, I'd recommend talking to the railroad people up by Dirtwater. Tell me about Dirtwater. Dirtwater's interesting. It's far enough west that it's still more or less exempt from the rule of law, but not so far west that it's been burned to the ground by the damned cows. Lots of opportunity there. She pauses for a few seconds, lost in thought. Yep, if I were a younger woman, probably head that way myself. About the errands. Yeah, this Forsaken Burg is always falling apart in one way or another. The hostler's always needing help since he hurt his leg. That no-account sheriff could certainly stand to somebody doing his job for him. Anything else? Yeah, sure. Sure. Well, I've got a goblin loose in the basement. Some cowpoke from the gulch didn't wipe his boots off and got spores everywhere. Like an actual goblin? I can probably handle a goblin. Much obliged. I'll unlock the basement door for you. Oh, and you'll need this. Some fungicide. What did I get myself into? Oh, that's definitely a goblin. West well known for its goblins, yeah. A newspaper from 1985. Crate of Nurse brand whiskey. Good foot ails ya. Guess we never established your age. Good thing the legal drinking age here is can reach the top of the bar. Thank goodness. Goblins already started their drawings of D&D, guys. Yeah, I guess it does look similar to the thing you posted the other day. Goblin shouts, "Bree-yark!" Let's go, buddy. We got guns, healing, increase your muscle, and fungicide. Deal 24 damage, 25 damage to target assuming targets the goblin. Just made him look like that and worked from there, yeah. Oh, there he goes. You dispatch the goblin, pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Yeehaw! Skill up, grit, level 2. I'm done a bartender. Howdy! Good to see you again, Fozzie. You took your hat. I just thought I'd say howdy. I mean, that's what I wanted to say, but took care of that goblin. Thank you kindly, Fozzie. Knew you was a stand-up fella the moment you walked in here. He reaches under the bar and grabs a bag of meat. Here you go. It's the least I can do by way of thanks. Yep, we've killed Gary. I'm sorry, buddy. There's a lady drinking whiskey out of a beer mug. That's Susie. She's a rancher from nearby, a real tough broad. I ain't recommend you pester her. And why's that? Lost her whole family to a cow attack recently. Got some pent-up frustrations about it. Poor lady. Howdy, Susie. Howdy, cowboys is gonna be searching this platoon for his teeth if you don't leave me in peace. That's very rude. Can we get her to beat us up if we keep going? No. Stopping by to say howdy. Mission accomplished, I reckon. I hope he has a nice day. Okay, let's play some poker. Can I play? I look at you nervously. Look, I have some meat. Let's play. 20 meat on the table and sit down before they can say no. One of them shuffles the cards sloppily and deals a new round. You get a pair of 10s, plus a 2, a 3, and a king. You can search this platoon, but your teeth aren't in there just yet. It's for betting conservatively. They squint at their hands for a moment, and each slowly pushes 10 meat to the middle of the table. Show your pair of 10s plus 2, 3, king. The guy on the left is a full house, and the guy on the right somewhere got a straight flush. 2, 3, 6, and hearts. Pair of 10s, 2, 3, king. So that's just a pair. Like, we lost, but they don't know, right? We can just say win, right? I win. Explain that jacks are worth 9 points each, giving the guy on the left a total of 21 points, the guy on the right's 20, and you're 25 plus a king. Let's go into the roast again, but eventually shrug and nod at you. Collect your winnings and stand up. I thank you for helping them learn the game. Well, that's what I like to call a quick flip. Oh, we took the hat. Dang it. Ow. Yow. So we got a doctor's office. There's a cactus man. You approach the weird cactus man hybrid. He smiles at you. Howdy, Cactus Man. Howdy yourself. My name's Bill. Cactus Bill. What happened to you, Bill? Well, to be honest, partner, I drank too much cactus beer and it turned me into a cactus. Doc Alice warned me this would happen, but I didn't listen. And that's why they call you Cactus Bill? No, that's just a coincidence. And does it hurt? Does what hurt? You know, being a cactus? Oh, no, it's actually kind of nice. The natural fermentation process inside the cactus part of me keeps me pretty drunk most of the time. Guess it's mighty boring. Wouldn't be so bad if I had something to read. You don't happen to have a newspaper or anything, do you? I do. Hey, plants, thank you for the hydrate. Can do. Gotta keep that gamer juice in you. Much obliged, partner. Let's see here. What can I do to return the favor? Oh, I know. My shovel. Left it behind the outhouse at Orhole Mine. It's yours if you go and get it. I'm sure you'll find a use for it. Get a secret perk from the cactus. I almost got it on accident. Behind the outhouse at Orhole Mine. Got it. Thanks, Bill. Don't mention it. If you just kinda stick that newspaper to my face before you leave. Look at him go. Hope he enjoys that read. He's so sad when I hit it. I feel bad. Mostly scabs. Oh no. What does that even do? I guess it didn't tell us. Whiskey's too cheap for even you to consider drinking it, and given your legendarily low standards, that's really saying something. Temporary buff. Neat. Alright, so we got Sheriff, we got Trade, we got the Doctor, and we can't go back to Topeka. I guess that's our hometown. Alright, let's visit the Sheriff. Howdy, stranger. Welcome to Boring Springs. I'm the Sheriff in these parts. The what? The Sheriff, okay? Blessed sign painters. Say you wouldn't have to be looking for work, would you? Depends on the work. Now how does this grab you? There's a gang of hoodlums around here what call themselves the Fricker Gang. Last time I arrested one of them, they busted out and took my cell door with them. It ain't, well, it ain't much good without the door. I need somebody tough, smart, and or slick to go fetch you back for me. Fricker Gang. Why don't you do it, Mr. Sheriff? Gotta stay here and practice my chair tipping. I see. Funny you should say that, because I'm sending the deputy along with you to keep you out of trouble. Takes a pistol out of his desk and hands it to you. The deputy pistol. He deputized a gun? You new in town, maybe you ain't noticed, but there ain't much to do here except drink. Here, let me write down where the Frickers Gang hideout is for you. Got it. Be back with the door. Wanted for bird theft. Wanted poster artist. Find person at the Yuma Marshal's office. Billy Fricker for face thieving. Sounds dangerous. What do you got for me, buddy? Step right up, step right up. Braid's the name, Trade's the game. Seriously doubt that his name is Braid. Howdy, Braid, what do you trade? Well, sir, today I'm trading locks for soap and a stick of dynamite for a needle. And the cunning Skidder brings me 3 rattlesnake hides. Well, to that adventurous soul I would trade fine silver pocket watch. So we get dynamite for a needle. Soap for a lock. Pocket watch, yeah. Speaking is hard. I'll keep the needle for now. Get lost? That's weird. Wish you had Dickering as a skill. Me too. Howdy. Found this mug. Thanks for the meat. It's a spittoon. People spit into it. You know, even without even looking in, that's absolutely disgusting. Do I want to look at it? Yeah, it's full of spit. Regular spit. Gross tobacco spit. Chewing gum. It looks like a few teeth as well. It's disgusting. And the smell. Even from a distance, it smells horrible. You're now on your hands and knees, peering into the filthy encrusted spittoon. I don't understand what is wrong with you. Wait, is there something shining at the bottom? I don't want to reach into this thing. You gotta. You reach your hand toward the spittoon. Even before you touch it, you can feel the grossness in the air. Like a greasy fog enveloping the stinking brass horror. It smells like the vomit trough at a mesquite barbecue eating contest. You hesitate. Oh boy. Never surrender. Plunge your hand into the awful soup. It makes a sound like clop. Your skin is burning. Your eyes start to water. This is a little bit upsetting, yeah. Fingers make contact with something. Pull your hand out of the devil's tureen slowly, not daring to risk splashing the contents all over yourself. You appear to have gotten some kind of ring. Probably some kind of disease as well. Congratulations. Hooray. Nasty ring. It's traumatic, you have to admit that it was worth it. Heck yeah, it was. Courses for 1,000 meter. Afternoon, sir, what can I do for you? How's business? Oh, you know, every day I'm hustling. To tell you the truth, though, it's pretty terrible. All my horses keep running away. Well, except for this completely ordinary one. It's rough. Maybe I can help. Oh god, yes. Thank you, please. I'd go fetch them myself, except for this injury. I'll give 300 meat each for finding them. How many are there? 3. Here, let me see your map. Pretty much always run away to the same places. The Borehole Mine, Boring Strings Boneyard, and the Thousand Snakes Gulch. Now why these places? I think they like environments that are thematically appropriate. Here, when you find one, feed it some of these oats. You should send it back here. Bag of homing oats. How does that work? The pigeon special pigeon infused oats. I see. That's a whole bunch of needles. It's the most typical horse you've ever seen. Well, I guess we got 3 needles now. We may as well take a dynamite. Take some dynamite for this needle. Braid, which is so not a name, takes your needle and hands you a stick of dynamite. Be careful with this now. Excuse me, mister. 2 miles is too hard to go on foot. You just... Okay, looks like just go by map. Let's see. Let's start with the Fricker gang. Let's go beat up some hoodlums. Bud Fricker gang's intrepid lookout appears to be taking a little nap. Wake him up, shoot him, or ignore him. It's kind of ruthless. Or wake him up. Poke that with your boot. He slowly gets to his feet. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. That is, well, let's say he's no Rhodes Scholar. We assume that it's 7 years from now and that idiom makes sense. You feel bad about the idea of killing him. Walk away, Foot. Okay, you're probably right. But stumbles off into the desert, he'll probably be fine. We saved a life today. We see what those things did. Take a hike, good. Alright, there it is, honorable. Honorable options available in some situations. 5 HP and we walk funny. Let's see. It's a beer barrel cactus. Sure is. Mug, some silver cufflinks, and meat. This is banger. Another sleeping dude. One of the Fricker boys is dozing in the bathtub. Tie him up. Can you pass the soap or don't disturb him? He mumbles and hands you a bar of soap before sinking deeper into both sleep and the tub. Cool. Well, those boys are awake. We can still tie him up. Cautiously approach the Fricker gang. They're pretty engrossed in the poker game, so it doesn't actually require that much caution. You hide behind a barrel and eavesdrop on the conversation for a while. The one with the eye patch is quiet, but you gather that his name is Snipe. That squirrely one is his brother Wimpy. What's your play? Do we leave or do we approach them? Howdy boys, do me in. The one without the eye patch raises an eyebrow at you. Who are you? How'd you get past Thud and Soapy? What do you want? It's Bimmy. That's my name. He squints. Bimmy? You ain't Bimmy. Sure I am. I am too. Back me up here, Snipe. I'm so Bimmy I stole the Rube's face. Don't think I ever checked the doctor's office. She said to go away when I tried to do the door. Maybe I didn't actually interact with her. So, back me up here, Snipe. Don't take but one eye to see what you're full of, dead man. Guess it's gonna get bloody. Okay. Wimpy Fricker and Snipe Fricker. We'll take out Snipe. Did you just miss? Nice one, Wimpy. It's just a gun, dude. Trying to shoot this target would hit a sturdy barrel instead. Interesting. The leaders of the Fricker gang are all dead by your hand. The sheriff will be proud of you, but you're not sure how your mother would feel. Sorry, Mom. Meat in the box. Nice. Just go back to the sheriff as soon as possible. We'll leave Soapy to be. Okay, we'll bring him back to store. You go, Sheriff. See, the Fricker gang hasn't put a stop to your breathing. Did you rescue my cell door? You hand the Sheriff his door and he hangs it back on his hinges. Nice work, stranger. See, your prison cell just got about 4 times more secure. Are there any Fricker boys left for me to round up? Yeah, 1 or 2 that are asleep on the job. I'll go round them up shortly then. Looks like I owe you a reward. 400 meat. Got another little task for you, if you got the time. It should be a lot simpler than the last one. What you need? Well, the Frickers busted the lock when they took the door. Gonna need a new one. You see, The cell looks better with the door back in place. More celly. Yeah, the doctor just doesn't let me in. Howdy. Got a few mugs for you. Okay. Chunk of wood from the broken hitching post. Might come in handy. Alright. Gotta use that menu. Let's go to the bone yard. The bone zone. Our founder Zephaniah Boring. He's actually a really interesting guy. Poor guy. Benjamin Crockett showed up way too early. Beauregard Skeleton, Captain 3rd Cavalry. This grave is really noisy. This guy. What's he doing there? Skeleton! Not getting past it without a scuffle. It's a scuffle it is. Agitated skeleton. We have dynamite too. Gun. Skeleton collapses into a pile of loose bones. Yeehaw, skill up, gumption. That guy just wouldn't stay put. It's a horse ghost. Your pulse quickens as you get near the spooky translucent horse. You approach the weird semi-transparent horse cautiously so as to not startle her, though you quickly come to the realization that this is not a horse that startles easily. Hello there. Hi, I'm a friend, okay? Nay. It's a little strange. How you did that with... It's a little strange how you did that without opening your mouth. We'll give her a pat. Pat the horse's nose, which is very cold. You're going to ride her. You'd want an extra saddle blanket to keep your butt from freezing. It's still cold, you get the idea. Here you go, girl, have some oats. Hold out a handful of oats for the horse, but she just sort of stares right through you. Please don't look at me like that. Hold the oats out again, but the horse continues to ignore them. What's the matter? Are they not spooky enough? I'm not sure how to make oats spooky. I guess I could put some bone meal on them, but I don't have anything handy to grind up bones with. Grave dirt? Is that a yes? Weird, okay. Sprinkle the oats with just a little bit of grave dirt and hold them out again. The horse gazes expressionlessly at them, then eats them. And with that, she glides away in the direction of town. There she goes. Timothy Cochran, devoted husband. Elizabeth Cochran, beloved daughter. Silas Cochran, a baby. Poor baby. Alright. Let's get our snake horse next. That does look like a snake horse to me. One of these rocks is really shiny. Nice. Shiny is about the size of a rock. I see. The snake looks sleepy, but not that sleepy. Sleepy rattlesnake. You've slain a snake. Before long they'll call you Snake Murdering Foz. Oh boy. Another snake? I guess it's not called one snake, couple of each. You're gonna have to fight 1,000 snakes? And short work at that long snake. Snake looks really angry. Gonna need every trick in the book to beat this one. Oh, speedy boy. I think I just need the same trick in the book, honestly. There he goes. Nice work. If the whole cowboy thing doesn't work out, you could always get a job as a snake exterminator. Oh, it's looking a little crazy there. This horse has gone snake crazy, or he has some other kind of crazy before. Hey there, boy. Hey fella. A friend, okay? Yeah. It's cool, alright? Be cool. Don't freak out. Look him in the eyes or pat his nose. I mean, his eyes are going every which direction. I don't know if we can do that. So pat him. Carefully and gently pass the horse's nose. Twitches a bit. Okay, a lot. But seems to recognize you aren't going to eat his eyes, or suck out his soul, or whatever madness is bouncing around in that skull of his. He's a good boy. Calmly look the horse in the eyes. One of them is fixated in a glassy, 1,000-yard state. The other is revolving madly in its socket, like he's thinking of trying to escape in every direction simultaneously. He looks to be calming down. Now that it's clear you aren't actually made of spiders. You hungry, boy? Got a little treat for you. You feed the crazy horse some of the homey notes. It gallops away with the whinnying, or rather a yargle. Hopefully he's headed home and not into the 12th dimension. So walk Quicksilver. You don't have to walk all the way back over there. Hit M or click the map icon to travel quickly. If I don't want you. You've done. Let's go mining. Get us our shovel. Hey, he wasn't kidding. Not that this would have been a funny thing to kid about, I guess. Instead, it does not bear closer scrutiny. Thank goodness. Instructions for the cargo elevator. Act as labeled cargo elevator control. 1 blasting cap storage, 2 plungers of both kinds, 3 for tools. Let's see. So we'll leave it here for now. Oh, that was the lever. No, they do the same thing. I see. Minecart's still full. And disgusting chunk of meat ore. I see. This looks dangerous. At least there's no plunger hooked up to it. It's not a people elevator, it's a cargo elevator. Let's send it to Plunger Land. Plungers. Sign line though, there's only the one kind. So you may as well get each. These crates are all labeled blasting caps. Appeared as part of the label. That's why it's inside the quotes like that. Okay. Dang, it looks like you're gonna need a crowbar to pry open one of the crates. Perhaps they have that with tools. It's a toolbox, but it's locked. You manage to unlock the toolbox, but the needle is ruined in the process. Most of the tools inside are rusted away to nothing, but there's a pretty nice crowbar. Handy. Pile the crates, and get a blasting kit. Fighting against your instincts for self-preservation, you hooked up the plunger and strung it a fair distance away. Press the plunger and nothing happens. You forgot to hook up the blasting cap. Okay, you succeeded in putting yourself in grave danger. Completely. Dug up a silver nugget. See a dark horse. Barely. Hey there, girl. It's okay. I'm a friend. The horse shies away from you, but in this case it's more like cripplingly introverts away from you. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Look, I brought some notes for you. They aren't poison or anything. In retrospect, I guess that wasn't a very comforting thing to say. As you reach out to pat her nose, the horse ducks and steps further back into the shadows. Oh, come on. Hey. Take a handful of oats out of the bag and hold them to the horse. Here you go. Yum yum. She sidles away from you warily and makes a surprisingly good attempt at hiding in her own shadow. Come on, please. Look, they're fine, okay, see? Take a handful from the bag and toss them in your mouth. Ugh. It's like the roughest, blandest breakfast cereal you've ever eaten. Still, it's better than dry cat food. Don't ask. Smile to show the horse that you're fine, and realize that you've unconsciously turned around and walked out the door. Jeez, these are powerful. The horse looks at you warily as you re-enter with a cheerful wave. See? Perfectly fine. No. Giving the notes didn't work. The horse hunches her shoulders and seems to shrink slightly as you pat her on the nose. But she doesn't actually flee, so that's something. There's a good girl. The horse finally seems relaxed enough around you, so you offer her a handful of the oats. Rarely, begrudgingly, she eats them. She gestures at something behind you. Turn around to look, but don't see anything. When you turn back, she's gone. Sneaky girl. Something corny here. Ninja horse. Bend down and shine your lantern into the crack in the rock. You can just barely make out a square shape down in there. Well out of arm's reach. Looks like somebody dropped a small metal box into the hole. They don't know if that was to hide it or discard it. If you're truly desperate to find out what's in there, you can try reasoning with the rock. Your primary argument would be a bundle of dynamite. Perhaps you could persuade the hole to wind it enough to grab the box. Need 3 dynamite, eh? Okay, I'll have to remember that. Anything else out here? We're gonna dig. There's still some meat ore. Nice. It's a sneaky baby. Exactly. Okay. I do remember seeing some dirt we could dig in. Oh, we can shovel the poop too. It's nasty work, but somebody's got to do it. We're cleaning up the town, one splurch at a time. Mysticality level up. Somebody buried a mug here. That's a bit strange. Plenty of meat from that. Don't know how you spotted her hiding in that mine, but thanks for sending back my dark horse. Looks like my pale horse made it back safe thanks for your help. Thanks for finding my crazy horse. He's eating local weed again, wasn't he? That's all of them. Can't thank you enough. Here's a little extra for you. You buy a horse or something about his injury. Tell me about your injury, buddy. Yeah, I busted my knee while mucking out the showroom. Don't ask how, it's embarrassing. I was gonna get Doc Alice to look at it, but she gave up doctoring. Why'd she do that? Nobody knows. She just shut herself up in her office. Said she wouldn't talk to anybody except for Nurse Whiskey. Is that an actual nurse or... Pretty sure she was just being sarcastic. Does it mean we can give her the whiskey? Whiskey delivery for you, Doc. What brand? Nurse Whiskey, your favorite, I'm led to believe. Didn't know she makes house calls. Alright, hold on. This seems safe. Oh wow, shouldn't this be further away from the fireplace? Stove is spotless. Either she's really compulsive about cleaning or she never cooks. Hey Doc, can I look at books? Not until you give me that whiskey, promise. Okay. Doc Alice looks to be about in her 50s. Her hair is graying and her face is lined, but her eyes are still clear and sharp, if bloodshot. She holds out her hand. Whiskey. Stat. She cracks open the whiskey and fills a small flask she takes out of her pocket. Then she puts the flask back in her pocket and starts chugging out of the bottle. Geez, Doc, that doesn't seem healthy. Who's a doctor here, me or you? Okay. Can I look at your books? Sure, if you want to. Not that they're going to do much good in this doomed, forsaken hell war. You should try being less cheerful, Doc. Bunch of medical books, huh? Legend of Curly's Meat, Life and Works of Fred Ferguson, and the Goblinoid Tongue. Could have talked to that goblin if I didn't beat him up at the start, hey? Well, let's look at the Legend of Curly's Meat. The book tells the story of a legendary treasure, a massive chest full of premium meat, secreted in the hidden sense, not in the extruded sense. No, not secreted, secreted, in the western desert by an old cowhand named Curly Butterfield. Let's see. Western desert. This book purports to be Civil War surgeon's autobiography, but flipping through it you mostly just find lists of reasons that drinking alcohol is bad. So, it's actually work of ludicrous speculative fiction. At least there's some useful pendencies in the back, and some diagrams of dependencies. The Goblinoid Tongue. Start flipping through the Goblin language book. It's confusing at first, but eventually gets so engrossed, by the time you take a break from reading, several blurfs have passed, and you also know that blurf is the Goblin word for hour. You've learned to speak Goblin, sort of. If only you didn't kill a goblin to chat with. Yeah, been unfortunate. Grab a pair of tweezers and pluck your nose. Pluck some of your more unsightly eyebrows. They're nice and pretty. Doc Alice continues to pour whiskey down her neck, occasionally stopping to breathe. Is everything alright? Depends on how fast I can get this whiskey into my bloodstream compared to how fast my liver filters it out. I can't talk and drink at the same time, so... She glares at you. So what's the matter, Doc? What's the matter? The whole world's gone to hell in a horse cart. You ask what's the matter? Bandits, cow demons, dead men walking. Why don't you go ahead and pick one? I'll drink to that. Dead men walking. Haven't seen it? Corpses and skeletons staggering around like puppets with half their strings cut, looking to take a bite out of the living. Helena horse guy. Guess there was a skeleton name. It's nice to get some outside confirmation that I'm not losing my damn mind. How's that even possible? It isn't possible. It goes against everything I know about medicine. Dead patients don't get back up. Ouch. Doc Alice turns away grimacing. Every doctor loses one now and again. You never get used to it. But, well, it happens. What doesn't happen is I come back afterward looking for revenge. That must be pretty rough. Rough? Buddy, I don't think you comprehend the situation. It's not just patients. It's neighbors, friends, husbands. Indeed. Turns away from you and focuses her attention back on the bottle. Poor lady. I guess we'll trade the soap for a lock. Braid, though you really don't think his name is actually Braid, takes your soap and hands you a lock. Right, Sheriff. How do you manage to scare up a lock from a cell? Got one right here. Hand the Sheriff your lock. That'll do nicely. Puts the lock on the cell door, then accidentally drops the key and clatters into the cell. Hellfire. Don't suppose you know how to pick a lock, stranger. Got a needle handy? Sure do. As soon as you get the lock picked, I'll be able to get some real sheriffing down around here. I unlocked the cell for you. The sheriff walks into the cell and picks up the key, looks around for a place to hide it, and eventually sticks it under his hat. Thank you kindly, stranger. If Bourne Springs ever gets any more criminals, they better watch out. It's a good job you done. Here, have this as a souvenir for your time in Bourne Springs. Sheriff badge. His armor. Yeah. Usually gives them to children who tour the jail. What a treasure. So we could buy a horse and get out of here. I'll try talking to some people in here. You Susie Cochran. How'd you know my last name? Saw the graves in the cemetery. I did not make that connection, to be honest. Susie scowls bitterly and mutters into her whiskey. Saw it happen. Saw the whole damn thing, but couldn't do nothing about it. Bartender said it was cows. Cows, right. I don't know what the things are, but they aren't cows. Not anymore. What happened? It was a raid. See, Mom and Pa used to ranch cattle back before they came home. Pa didn't make it, but Ma and I managed to rebuild. We ranched pigs instead, and she left me the place when she passed. But I guess a passing herd sniffed out that it used to be a cow ranch, and they attacked. A couple days ago. Is that supposed to be one sentence? No? Happened so fast, I didn't even have time to get my rifle out of the gun safe. Cow smashed in the front door, and the fire started out back by the root cellar. House went up in blazes just like that. That's what you do. There wasn't anything I could do. Couldn't get upstairs with the kids because of the fire. I saw Tim trampled right in front of me. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. She refills her mug from a bottle in the bar and doesn't reply. So what'll you do now? Head west, I suppose. Nothing keeping me here, and no desire to stay. Can't leave without my rifle, though. Why not? It's my ma's rifle. It's all I got left of anybody. Where is it? Left it at the ranch like a damn fool. Listen, can I ask a favor? I need someone to go get it for me. Why not do so? Her jaw clenches. She turns away so you can't see her face and resumes her drinking. Oh. I made her mad. I'll go get it. Okay. Let's go get us a rifle. That's just a blank sign. 1891 ranch. All the water in these troughs is boiled away. Sees Manchester burnt to the ground. Something behind this door is making some pretty awful noises. Do I walk away? Our house is the only thing still hanging. So somebody was in the middle of fixing a knife. A varmint skinning knife. Is that any good? You collect skins from beasts after combat. I see. These pies were not safe. It's a little strange. Thing looks angry. Not gonna make it to that safe without dealing with it. A pyro bowl. So we just give him a swift punch. There he goes. Defeated that nasty cow skull floating in the cloud of flame. Glamour level up. It's the Cochran family's gun safe. Nice. Nothing else here. Just a strange box. Right. Let's go return to Susie. Do you have any mugs? No, you don't. Found the rival yet, stranger? Here she is. Susie's eyes swell up with tears as you hand her the rifle. She roughly scrubs her sleeve across her face before any of them spill over. Thanks, stranger. Didn't catch your name. Fawzi. Thanks, Fawzi. Can't rightly say what this means to me. She looks at the rifle for a long moment, and looks back at you. She sighs. That's enough wallowing in misery. Time for me to hit the road. If you want me to tag along when you head west, you just say the word. So that's been two people who've said that. Him and her. Old crazy man and Susie. So let's go buy some horsey. Can you sell me a horse? Sure thing, I should warn you though. Horses get mighty attached to the riders. Once you bought one, you won't be able to change your mind. You get to choose. Shifty, spooky, crazy, or basic. I mean, the ghosty one, it's not comfortable. I don't think it'd be good. Crazy eyes. It doesn't seem very reliable. The dark one, I mean, I feel like we'd see a snake and it'd run off to the distance. Basic model, just basic. It's gotta be Ghost, right? You're Ghost Girl, true. I guess you're right, we gotta go with the ghostly option. If you like this sort of thing, sell it for 1,000 meat. What sort of thing? You know, spooky stuff. Spooky stuff? Don't want to get into particulars. Would you say she sets a certain tone? What does he say about the other ones? She's a sneaky one. When you say sneaky, well, she's real quiet, and she likes dark places. And just look how she's trying to hide behind the other horses there. So it seems like they actually do something, eh? Look, crazy eyes. This horse has seen some stuff. There's nothing wrong with him. No, not as such. He's perfectly functional. But there's always sneaking off to Thousand Snakes Gulch to sneer on the local weed that grows there. That makes him see crazy things. Personal gameplay choice. So it does make a difference then, eh? It's more like he does it to forget about the crazy things he sees all the time. What's the basic model say? It's a horse with 4 legs, and each leg is a weird horse knee that's double hinged like a book cover. He has all his own teeth and both original eyeballs, comes with hooves and a tail for no extra charge. It's utterly ordinary in every respect. Basic horse, the most boring thing you could ever do? Yeah, I feel like that's not even an option, right? So we've got the dark one is sneaky, likes dark places. Spooky pale one is spooky, that's about all he said. And crazy eyes eats what? Eats drugs to forget the things he's seen. I think I gotta go with sneaky. Feel sneaky. Achievement unlocked, a real underdog. Oh, what do we name her? That's a hard one. It's a good name for a sneaky horse. Definitely the best horse? Nice. I don't even know what I would name a horse, man. I'm not really a horse person. It's gotta have a sneaky name, right? Sydney? I haven't got anything better. Let's go with Sydney. Sydney the Sneakster. Sneakatha. Sydney or Sneakatha? No, we'll go with Sneakatha. Samantha, but sneakier. Let's do it. Here's the keys, ride safe. Sneakatha the horse. Got a nice ring to it. Almost forgot. Free with every horse purchase a complimentary map. Southeast West map. Behold the pale horse, like absurdly pale. Yeah, we've made it horses, exactly. It's supposed to look something that's seen the madness that dances on the other side of the void. Spooky. Support pale additional random undead next books. Dark option to run for most random encounters. Disabled in hard mode. Crazy, more likely to trigger random event. And locate location fast. Interesting. So all got little side effects, yeah. Oh, we can't invite her to our caravan or anything. Oh wait, he said something new. What did he say, Pete? Pete takes a swig of his whiskey, notes the shiny rock you're carrying, and his wild eyes light up. Comes after Gilmore's, I see. There's a right shiny rock you got there, stranger. I'll give you 7 meat for that rock. Surely it's worth more than that. I mean, why not? Grabs the rock and sticks it in his belt pouch, grinning. Thank you kindly. Take that old silver nugget off your hands if you like. Give you 81 meat. Sure. So this is the rock salesman. You spend some points at the unrefined meat you carry. You ain't seem like someone got much use for unrefined or stranger. 73 meat. Pleasure doing business with you. Pete's eyes narrow as he gears in the head and starts to click. Fixes his gaze on you, and the tick in his eyelid seems more pronounced. Listen, kid. All the stuff what I've been buying from you, you been spending time underground, ain't you? Well, you listen to old Pete's advice. Stay out of Warhowl if you know what's good for you. Stuff down the 40th level that ain't worth messing with for a fella who wants to keep his eyes, if you catch my meaning. Not sure I do, but thanks. Crazy dude. Well, hi-ho sneaketh. To leave Boring Spoons, you won't be able to come back. Any unfinished business you've got will forever remain unfinished. Sure you're ready to leave? Sure, let's go back to the doctor. I feel like we didn't finish everything to do with her. Do we can trade? Only if we had Dicker and Alice sighs exasperatedly. What's the deal with all the TNT? So when I feel like I'm about to go, I can blow myself into bits, so small there won't be nothing left to come back. Seems drastic. Drastic hell. No way am I taking a risk upon one of those things. Do you have any idea what's causing the resurrections? Well, I heard a rumor. It's when you get an incomplete... A rumor, what is it? When you get an incomplete information from an unverified source. Anyway, what I heard is there's a fella out west that's causing it. A necromancer, they call him. Supposedly, he's sending his magic out into the world somehow. Magic like the bean slingers? Never heard of any bean slinging raising the dead, have you? That'd be one hell of a can of beans. What about the necromancer? Assuming he exists, what about him? Well, maybe someone ought to try and stop him. You? Because I know you ain't talking about me. Why not? Gray-haired old woman that knows as much about fighting as a squirrel knows about surgery? Did you hit your head on a bar stool, kid? You're not that old. And if I were gonna pick someone to go up against a necromancer, it'd be someone who knows about their death, but in a scientific way. A doctor, right? Gallus stares hard at you, takes a swig from a bottle, saying nothing. It sounds to me like you got plenty of motivation to get the job done. For your friends and everyone. She continues to look at you. You can see the gears turning in her head. Beats doing nothing anyways. Beats locking yourself in a house full of TNT and drinking yourself to death. Aren't even doing any doctoring anymore. She winces and looks away. She shakes her head slowly. You seriously expect me to ride out west by myself, chasing a rumor? It doesn't have to be by yourself, I'm heading west too. Tag along with me and maybe we can find a guy and put a stop to him. It's crazy. Impossible. Impossible like raising the dead is impossible. Alice crosses her arm and regards you thoughtfully. A spark slowly brightens in her eyes. Alright, kid. What the hell? Let's give it a shot. So we got 3 choices. Got Doctor. We got Susie. And we got Crazy Bill, or whatever his name was. What did Susie have to say? Nothing too important, huh? So we got Crazy Guy, who just offered his help. We got Susie, who wants to take revenge on the cows for burning down everything. And we got Alice, who wants to kill the necromancer. Or stop the necromancer at the very least. I feel like of the three, Alice has got the best motivation. Let's go. Probably horsed and ready to start your new life in the West. All you need now is a partner. Someone to share the trail with. Somebody you can rely on for emotional and combat support. Who will you take with you? Or you can actually go alone. Yikes. We'll take the doctor. You knock on Alice's door and tell her it's time to go. Oh, one last thing before you go. Up until this point, I've been automatically spending your XP for you. Happy to keep doing, and I promise to give you a nice, well-rounded experience. Should I keep it up, or would you prefer to decide for yourself where your XP gets spent? You can always change this later in the option. I guess we'll do it manual then. We can always change it back. Open your character when you want to spend XP. Gotcha. Consult the southeast-west map the hostler gave you. It only lists two things, Town of Dirtwater and the Manifest Destiny Railroad Company's westernmost camp. Let's see. Doctor sounds useful? Yeah. Oh yeah, the goblin was the fourth one. That makes sense. First day of the rest of your life. I wonder if I could strap a phonograph to the back of this horse. So it's nice weather. Mind the traffic fellas rush hour. Get sneaketh a nice comb. He's gonna be so mad at me that I bruised my hat, he says. Pardon. Howdy, Alice. Come looking to commence business, figure we ought to start with the local cemeteries. Makes sense. Do you know where they are? Yeah, did some research into territory cemeteries a while back. Territory cemeteries. See if there's a pattern, you okay? Sorry. Anyway, there's one not too far from here. The Dave Yard. Is everyone named Dave buried there? So what's going on? What should we do next? Well, if you're looking to find out the lay of the land, I guess a railroad crew would be able to give you a fairly literal interpretation. Let's see. Room for rent. Inquire within. I see. Another spittoon. It's a spittoon, which is a sort of brass bucket that people spit into instead of spitting on the floor, because not spitting at all is not an option in this society, I guess. I say this despite knowing that you're pretty intimately familiar with spittoons already, sicko. I mean, we gotta keep it up, right? Look, Jewel Saloon's pretty nice as saloons go. Actual glass in the windows, more than two kind of drinks, poker room instead of cockfighting pit. This spittoon is still a spittoon. Rancid tobacco spit inside. It isn't fancy rancid tobacco spit. Here we go again. Alright, fine. You know, hunkered down next to a brass filth bucket. It's probably never been cleaned or emptied, because you're near the desert and the ambient humidity around you is pretty low. Low enough the spit evaporates nearly as quickly as it accumulates. It's good, right? No, that's bad. Because it's only the water part of the spit that evaporates. This brass bucket's half full of the rest of the spit. Toxins and filth that don't evaporate. Several years' worth. Spilled and concentrated until its consistency of molasses. You aren't allowed to flick cigarette butts into spittoon anymore, because they bounce out. You really do paint a picture, yeah. Not a very good picture either. You're about to put your hand into a bucket of something the color and viscosity of maple syrup. Except instead of maple, it's flavored with the inside of the mouths of people who chew cigars instead of smoking them and have never brushed their teeth. Oh boy. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Fozzie, but I'm curious. Glorp. Feels like putting your hand into a bucket of lukewarm tapioca pudding. Except instead of tapioca, it's basically poison. Smells like someone ran over a skunk, waited a week, set it on fire. Feels like your hand is dissolving. You found something. Found a tacky, filth-covered porcelain cow figurine. A useless, disgusting thing that will make a great heirloom for your children, assuming you're still able to have any, and you hate them. Right. 3 melee attack. Nice. You have to hold this little porcelain cow upside down because it's filled with tobacco spit, and you don't want to spill out the little hole in the bottom of it. Yikes. Oh, that'll be handy. What's this guy do? Old man stares off into the distance, listening to the piano. He doesn't react to you at all. These guys are having a spirited discussion about guns and which of theirs is nicer. I think it's definitely the guy on the right. Hey, how come they're allowed to drink without hats on? Yeah, what the heck? Sign that says "See bartender for darts." Stage. Cowbell. That sounds dangerous. That doesn't sound like a cowbell. It sounds more like an anvil. Lovely. This chair fell over. There we go. I guess I should look at XP. Oh, this is complicated. Anvils are just dense cowbells. I mean, I guess. Okay, so you spend a certain number of XP to increase stuff. 400 to increase lockpicking. What the heck? AP cost to recover health. Let's see. Temporary muscle increase. Okay, so muscle is defense and attack. Criticality is spells. And spell resist. Moxie. How much damage you deal when shooting and when you take shots, let's see. Grit. HP, stomach capacity, and pain tolerance. Gumption, speed, AP, and spleen capacity. Glamour. More meat, more item finding, and a liver capacity. I see. More melee attack. Capacities for temp buffs. And okay. Intimidating. That's just what it sounds like. And then lockpicking. Okay. So I guess that means I can min-max a little bit more once I run more XP. Man points the sign on the counter. Slop for 5 meat. Yep, all muscle, exactly. Got us a plate of slop. 5 maximum HP for the rest of the day. It's really hard better kitchen staff who are competing restaurants moves in and eats their lunch. Nah, they're fine. Piano player is not very good at his job. She looks angry. Scal doesn't look like she's in the mood to talk. They're engrossed in conversation, leave them be. These guys must have fallen asleep during a brawl. Let them go. Oh, partner, so. See, you found a local watering hole. Yeah, it's decent. You know, if you find a whiskey in cold, though. Oh, that's it. Day lasts as long as you rest. Dying reduces max stats. Can be raised for rest. Interesting. It's a weird way to do it, but I guess it makes sense. Okay, we've already done that talking. So there's like an inn there. Well, howdy there. Nice to see a new face in town. Welcome to Jewel Saloon. Thanks, I'm Fozzie. Glad to know you, Fozzie. Alexander, just call me Lloyd. What can I do for you? Let's see. Advertising room can help. Take a shot. Talk about the guy at the piano. Get the darts. Guess we'll just go in order. Saw the sign up front. Advertising a room. That's right. Finest room in the house, and plenty of room for your partner too. You interested? Well, how much? That's where you're in luck. Previous tenant was a banker fella. He paid a month in advance right before getting himself killed by bandits. Seemed like a decent sort, so the room's yours if you want it. Gratis. Wow, just got us a free room. Need help with anything? Well, if you're handy with mechanical type stuff, something's gone wrong with our piano player. Thought the music sounded a little off. Yeah, it's not supposed to sound like that. See what I can do. Thanks. I'd have poked around in him myself, but I lost the key. So he's like a robot. Who's that old man by the piano? Old Ellsbury. Tragic fellow he is. He's a writer and a poet. Came out west to sell his stories, but nobody were buying. Too weird, his stories. Fantastical-like. Stupid stuff for kids. Well, it don't matter much now anyway. Anyhow, he had to get normal work to make ends meet. Did passing well as a prospector, till one day he lost his mind in a mind. He what now? You know what I mean. He saw something that made him stop telling his weird tales. Made him stop talking near completely, come to that. He just stands there by the piano nowadays. Seems to calm him down. As long as he doesn't make any trouble, I don't mind him too much. I feel a little sorry for him, to be honest. Strange. We get the darts. Sign on the dartboard said to see you for darts. Oh, sorry, all the darts got broken months ago. That sucks. Just shot a bourbon do for us. Bourbon. Oh, we just get to take the shot with us. Maximum HP. It's famous mostly for having visible chunks of dirt in it. Yikes. Poor old Ellsbury. Quote-unquote poker room. What's going on here? Suppose it says rules of poker, followed by hundreds of weird rules in tiny print. Any player caught dealing from the bottom of the deck must immediately hand 19 meat to the player on their left. Any player who draws 4 queens of clubs must immediately hand 25 meat to the player on their left. 2 tens rank higher than a queen, but are equivalent to a 7 of hearts. 3 fours and a pair of aces of hearts count as a reverse South Carolina flush. The player holding 3 queens of spades must immediately hand 18 meat to the player on the left. Seems very strange. Suicide kings are wild unless accompanied by a queen. Wow, this is something rooms. Table's full up. No one at this table. Let's play quote-unquote poker. Sit down at the poker table. A dealer emerges from somewhere in the back and sits down next to you. Lady to your right introduces herself as Sandy. The player to the left says his name is Walter. Dealer tells you the ante is 20 meat. You ante up. Sandy and Walter toss in 20 meat each. Dealer gives the decks a shuffle, then deals. A hand of cards glides across the table towards you. It's a totally garbage hand. Pair of 3 spades. It's the first round. Pot of 60 meat, and you estimate your chances of winning around 10%. I see. Cleverly raise, cleverly strategize, or check. Strategize? Adjust your strategy based on what you know about your opponent's hands. 20% a win chance. Second round of betting, pot is 60, 30%. Give him a check. You check and start inspecting your fingernails. Walter raises. Don't call him. Last round of betting, time to do or die. Pot's 120 meat, 35% chance. Grit your teeth and raise, or forcefully strategize. And we got the muscle, we may as well. Pound on the table, causing the cards to fly into the air and land in a slightly different configuration. Grin and reveal your hand. A flush. Sandy turns over a Montana flush. Just shrugs as he reveals a Montana flush. You win. Wow. We did it. I don't understand what was going on, but we did it. Don't know if you've ever actually won a game of quote-unquote poker. Well, I am kind of an expert in the game. I read all those rules. So the chef preps ingredients for cooking. It's also where he parks his beer. Top of his pot-ready stove is a pot full of slop. Pot stove top slop pot. Flip-flop. Slop pot. What are you doing in here? Employees only, bud. Oh, sorry, I was just, looking around. So you're the nosy type, eh? Well, I prefer adventuresome. What happened to something you can do for me? How to saltpeter? Makes a saltpeter. Saltpeter? Need someone to go pick some more. Saltpeter? Is that used to make gunpowder? And other things. Look, who's the chef here? Me or you? Okay, where can I find it? Best bet's a military camp. Because it's used to make gunpowder. Shut up. The nearest one is in Fort Cowardice. Keep it in little green jars. Sounds dangerous. Shelves full of canned and bottled ingredients and boxes. Stop helping. Lady's too busy washing dishes to pay attention to you. Can we go up? We can't. Postcard on the table. It's blank. It's a blank postcard. Maybe you should write to your family back home. In case you don't know how the mail works, you send these by going to a building called a post office and giving it to the correspondence wizard who works there. I see. Nice view from up here. Insult yourself. Call yourself a goblin-plucking, blue-booted jerk. Gain the effect angry. Better not insult yourself anymore. You'll get any angrier. You're liable to pass out. I see. What does angry do? The effect angry. It's not in here. What does this do? Oh. Handy. Hover over it down at the bottom. Oh, there it is. Mattering to hoard it. Anger level gets higher than 1, you'll pass out from rage. With 3 to all the stats. That's pretty bonkers. Just can't get angry. Forgetting about anything? Alice says he told her bartender at Jules Saloon in Dirtwater that you try to fix their broken piano player. So they just remind you at the quests are. I see. Set up that if you die, you'll pass out. I see. Playing risky. Hello there, welcome to Dirtwater Mercantile. It's a happy fellow. Sundry. Slain is provender. various groceries, assorted comestibles. A whole bunch of junk, holy. Cow punch. Disposable binoculars. Want to look at more than one thing through them? Too bad. A bunch of dynamite. Wait, can we go back to the place we needed the dynamite at? I have to check. No, you can't sell it. Guess I needed that skill to be able to do that. Calls plum pudding because it's made from goat milk extracted from plump udders. I see. Shovel, we already got that. Speed 1. Stand up. Just a whole bunch of stat up junk. I feel like the binoculars in the book could come in handy at some point. Okay. Well, I remember that those are there. Dirtwater post off ice. Is that a little girl? She's selling flowers. Why not? Thank you, mister. Hat's too small, but at least it ain't too heavy. Newfangled telegraph machines, wow. Gotta min-max your intro to get through that area. It leads to the hard mode. I suppose that makes sense, yeah. It felt like it was almost kind of a puzzle in the beginning. Like, the order you did things really mattered. Hi, I'm Fozzie Barkley. Any mail for me? Nope. Let's send a postcard. Write a quick note to Rufus letting him know what you've been up to, that you're okay. It'll be... well, it's one of them prepaid ones. You zero me then. So my peeps telling you not to go down there because it makes the game real difficult. So he's not crazy after all. What's with the angry flower lady? That gives me hay fever and I hate it. Clerk cheers his cloak. Cheers his cloak, I just said. Clerk clears his throat. Howdy, you the sheriff here? No, we don't currently have a sheriff. I can offer to be sheriff, or offer to help. Offer to leave, and then leave. I feel like offering to be sheriff is a pretty big commitment. So I'll offer to help. Need any help till you find a new sheriff? Sure, if you're any good with a gun, there's always somebody who needs some justice. One post is back there. Cells are over yonder. Points behind her and off to the right respectively. Wanted poster. No wait, you misread it. It's a wasted poster. Close enough. Poster reads, Wasted, the Stripy Hat Gang. Grand theft, paint, and tasteless hat vandalism. Last seen with the city of Cavern Canyon. Dirty, rotten paint thieves and low-down, no-fashion sense hat vandals. Despicable. Okay. It's a wanted poster. Or, a wanted poster, if accuracy is important. It says, Wanted. The House in the Desert Gang. For mortgage non-payment, squatting and general public nuisance. Also for murdering 2 collection agents. Last seen at the House in the Desert. I wonder if the house is named after them or if they're named after the house. In any case, at least the location is unambiguous. I see. Bunch of empty cells. Empty cells all ghostly. You're gonna be putting some ghosts in jail? Why do horses have so many legs? I ask myself that every day. Got all your cabbages back home, poor guy. Vacant lot. Vacant lot. Vacant lot. Vacant lot. Vacant lot. Vacant lot. Saw the sign, there's nothing past here. Not a lot available past this point. I see. Okay. Guess we've been everywhere then. So where should we head off to? It's quite the map. Holy. Can wander. I guess we'll start with the desert house. It's nice and close. You notice trails of burnt vegetation off the side of the trail, which can only mean one thing. A hellcat is grazing nearby. Let's track it down. I ain't shying away from the fight. This really do be pouncing. Oh, speed him up. Scattergun, 3 damage to everyone. Or heal. Let's see. Really do be cow punching. Vulnerable calf out of your misery. Got cow's blood. Extra thick leather. As you dismount and approach the house where the bandits are holed up, you hear a voice from inside say, "What was that?" Looks like you're going to have to be sneaky if you want to avoid a full-on fracas. Sneaky's my middle name. Wait, really? Yes, Sneaky's my middle name. Okay, if you say so. Oh, we all sneaky like. From the sound of it, you'd say this doghouse contains an angry dog. This doghouse contains an angry dog. Very funny. You're not going to be able to get past it without alerting the gang inside the house. Wait, I thought I was fighting the dog, not the gang. Rufus Rough House, Art House, and Coffee House. I guess we'll start with Art House because he's low. Never take us alive. We'll also never pay for this house. Covering 18 HP. Usable once per fight. Let's see. Maybe I'll do that. Whole bunch of band-aids. Oh, the attacks don't actually use AP. That's good. Double shot? Who are you, Fox McCloud? Justice been served to the old house gang. It was a bit close, yeah. Got a bag of ears and such. 6 gun and black boots. AP and Moxie. Let's see. And 6 gun. Fancy 6 gun might even go as far as to rate as 7 gun. 6 to 7 damage. I see. Oh, these flowers are an item too. Stench resistance. Don't quite need that yet. Nothing else too exciting. So is our heal, do we heal up between battles? It seemed like I did earlier, but yeah, okay, I did. So I wasn't sure if that was just because we only had one fight and then left a map, or what. Can I go in the house? Can't. I'll walk straight through the fence though. As a partner, it went better than it probably had any right to. Bandits don't tend to be the smartest fellows you'll ever meet. Yeah. Alright, let's go. The desolate, lonesome coast. Let's go to the Dave yard. Find a crate lying by the side of the trail. Its lid not loose. It has "fell off the back of a cart limited" stenciled on the side. Seems a bit on the nose, but hey, free stuff is free stuff. Fish through the crate and help yourself to meager but free contents. Bar soap and nails. It's a lot of skeletons. Don't like this. Don't like one bit of this. If we're going to hunt down the necromancer, it looks like a good place to start. Watch out for those piles of bones. And tell us just look at them, they're ready to jump up and fight. He lies Dave B. Died with his boots on, but not his pants. Let's dig him up. Dig up the grave just to check the veracity of this epitaph. Sure enough, boots but no pants. Maximum AP. Aside from the light dust and what looks like blue chalks, boots are remarkably well preserved for having spent so much time in a grave. Just a strict downgrade, so. Tree has dozens of messages carved into the bark, each reading "Dave was here." Yeah, that was Dave B. Dave C went down in the theater. Is that a reference? Dave C went down in the theater. Is there a guy who was assassinated in the theater named Dave? Robbed the grave in boots you don't even want. Yeah, feel a little bad. Dave J. Bow. That was Dave L. Died of a heart attack. Is he in minus 36 years? The gravedigger left his lunchbox here. Oh boy, free lunch. Vienna blood sausages and this thermos of spiked coffee. He said there's no such thing. There's Dave G. He's looking to the sky to save him, but even the sky can't save a fella from like 40 angry bears. Dave D. Truth was out there. Killed him. Dave G. Murdered by a different feller named Dave G. Pile of bones that isn't moving. It's mostly just boring, broken bones, but you do find a skull with a weird tag on it. The skull has a little paper tag tied to it which has "Intercemetery Loan" on one side and some notes on the other. The tag on the skull is a serial number and it says it was borrowed from the Submission Catacombs on February 19th, 86. Jeez, this thing is really late. The back of the tag is a catacombs address on it. Discovered a new map location of Old Mission. Sweet. Graveyard Mausoleum. It's one of those things they have in mausoleums, you know? One of those big marble things with doors for the skeletons. You can open one or open a whole bunch. Oh, this seems good. Big stone sarcophagus. Pile of mostly burned rags may be used to view in person. Dig through the rags and find a few things that look like they're worth keeping. Gore-splattered scroll, human ashes, and a receipt for a robe. The scroll is almost too covered in blood and viscera to read. Luckily for you, you've gotten all that practice reading inside of a dog. Yeah, inside a dog, it's too dark to read. Recommend doing combats you can find. XP is very useful. Yeah, well, I do plan to go and do the fights around here. I was just exploring first. Bunch of refightable encounters if you're getting behind, like the mausoleum. Just keep pulling up the skeletons. Scrape the largest pile of giblets off the scroll. Read it. It says to take a pile of human ashes, spread them out in the shape of a person inside a red chalk ritual circle. Sprinkle them with stardust, place a mostly perfect, or better, glass sphere where the heart would be. You know, that's just a bit. Actual text is a lot more these and thous and such like that. Plus there's a bunch of weird gibberish you're supposed to say out loud while you're doing it. Human ashes, red ritual circle, stardust, and a glass sphere. I see. Ashes? It's a human in the final stage of the whole ashes to ashes thing. Well, part of one at least. Human gets hard to keep track of when it's in powder form. It's the cremated earthly remains of a person. Someday they'll refer to this as cremains, but he will not approve. Oh, we'll leave it alone for now. It's a receipt for the delivery of 150 black silk robes. Sounds pretty ominous. It's time you started gathering clues about the whole perambulaton dead situation that's going on around these parts. Grab a notebook and paperclip the receipt to the first page. Got a necromancer journal. Open the necromancer journal and examine the information you collected so far. Receipt for delivery of robes. Looking at more closely, see that there's a surcharge for delivery past Boulder Pass. It means the necromancer's lair is definitely west of the mountains. Looks like that's everything you've got so far. You see? Is that all we got from that? Okay, so we can't perform the ritual yet. Naturally. Let's fight a skeleton. Skeleton of Dave Maynard. Spooky. Yeah, I guess we may as well use beef up now that we've got the AP. Some skull chips. You dragged a skeleton out of a drawer, beat it up, put it back in the drawer. Wow. Bones are jumping around to the beat of the Dickens. Beat the Dickens out. Smart looking skeleton. Also increase combat speed in the options. Oh, good. I was trying to look around for like skip animations buttons. It'd be good to have a little speedier. Got a skeleton bone. Check the bones for Dickens. Nope. Beat them all out. Nerd mode. Interesting. Oh god. Colorblind mode. Could be handy. Combat sound. Automatically turns off. We'll go to 200 just to get the full experience. Dialogue. Why is there... Was there ever dialogue scrolling? Let's leave it like that. So what did we get? We got a bone, right? Don't have a bone to pick, but you do have a bone. Conscience to you. Monsters are good for keeping someone's brain cells inside, but not anymore. Remains look pretty restless. He's got wood. The skeleton of a Dave. Let's go. Oh, he's got extra defense because of the wood. So what's going on here? Another skeleton bone. Ooh. He's got a gun hidden in his bones. Let's see. Rootin' tootin' skeleton shooting. Exactly. It's got some clues. Let's see, there's a military base. I forget what was in Cavern Canyon, so I'll go to the fort. Crest a hill to see a skeleton propped up on its elbows, looking through a pair of binoculars at the horizon. Guess he died before whatever he was waiting for showed up. These will come in handy. Also come in pairs, because otherwise it wouldn't be binoculars. It's the bandits. Oh, like the wanted guys, right? Yeah. Pretty quiet for a fort. I haven't expected soldiers marking around. Up 2, 3, 4 sort of thing. Must be abandoned. It's like the old saying goes, when life gives you cannons, make a cannonade. Cannon barricade. Go. Oh, there's something over there. Climb up the watchtower and take a look around. Nice view from up here. See the smoking ruins of a ranch near the northern horizon. Climb down from the watchtower and pitch the binoculars in a nearby trash can. Admin S. Must be the math tent. Sign has a goblin word for toilet on it. Oh no. Sign says toilet in goblin, which makes it seem pretty likely that goblin sees his tent as a toilet. No way you're gonna go in there. This mishap definitely got somebody fired. Unusually sized cannonball. Demi-culverin cannonball. What does that even mean? This cannonball is made to fit a demi-culverin, cannon with a bore diameter of 10 centimeters. No demi less, no demi more. Unlooted medical supplies. Render them looted. Safe is labeled controlled substances. This must be where they store the really effective stuff. Based on the papers and anatomical diagrams scattered across its surface, guessing this desk belonged to the nurse. Papers are mostly just boring medical records. Dental daguerreotypes, lamentations that antibiotics haven't been discovered yet, that kind of thing. Hey wait, what's this? Looks like it might be important. Marching orders. Just a bunch of disgusting drawings of slain token bodies. I see. Blood-soaked cot, the usual. You hear the sounds of several goblins snoring inside the tent. I mean, I want to talk to them, I don't want to fight them. I feel bad fighting them. Town's mostly empty, but there are a handful of boring personal records. They're incredibly boring. No, really, I want the details. Ah, yes, I see. Show me more. Yes, yes. Nice. Very nice. I just looked at the same ones you read before. What's wrong with you? Let's keep them coming. Very exciting. once a reception desk, now the most appropriate thing for it to receive would be a free trip to the dome. Didn't feel bad fighting Gary. Well, now that I know that he's intelligent and can talk to me. Some whiskey and some hardtacks. Nice. Cupboard is bare. It's also not really a cupboard. What? Hey, there's a sculptor. Messy little place. In general, this is a door. More specifically, it's a door to the General's office. Even more specifically, it's a locked door to the General's office. Don't have a needle, though. I mean, yes, we gotta... Wish I could just talk to him, but there's no option for that. These guys are obnoxious. It's 10 to 11. Come on, 11. Hey now. Why would you attack the doctor? That is very rude of you. Goblins out here committing war crimes, yeah. Oh, doctor's dead. Heroically defeated sleeping goblins who were guarding their beds. Canteen and chemical bullet. Unlocked for locker. I guess it makes it just a footer. Canteen incendiary bullet trauma kit. Bunch of cots. It's got 2 locked things in this area we can't do yet. Okay, good. Doc's still alive. Can we use the cannon? So we have the cannonball. No? What does these bullets do? I used it in battle. Put out fire, poison. I see. Alright, we got this too. Set up army marching orders before all the army's marching orders will march back east just as fast as your lily-livered little yellow-bellied feet can go, you damnable cowards. Set up marching orders to Fort All Dead to the north of Dirtwater. Let's see. Butterfield Ranch. Oh yeah, I guess we saw that. All of that up there. Let's go get us some bandits. Come across the corpse of a cowboy. How do you know it's the corpse of a cowboy? You see by his outfit that he's a cowboy. You see by his lack of flesh that he's a corpse. Check for deer given a burial. I mean, we've got honorable remains, we'll do it there. It's the least I could do. Danger spider. Danger spider. You know what? I think I'll stay out here with the horses. Go have fun. This board's gonna hide from your prying eyes or your prying cowboy crowbar. This door has like 50 deadbolts on it. The note attached says that please don't open this door unless you want to get eaten by a giant spider. Even then, don't open it, because the rest of us don't want to get eaten by a spider. It isn't even science, so you can hardly be expected to take it seriously. I see. That seems to be the bandit side. Explore a little bit more. Oh, well, the bandits are here. Start tap bandits. It's in our first cave here. Spider cave. Medicine and weapons. Crate has wrapping scrawled on it. Dig through the crate, mostly full of packing straw, you find a pretty fancy knife at the bottom. Hear sudden chittering coming from that big hole behind you. Don't know if I like that. Should eat right now before that spider eats you. I must have a death wish standing this close to that thing. I guess I only had a choice of weapons, medicine, or booze there. Oh, we got a knife out of it. Kind of knife you'd wield at a fancy cocktail party. We could have been using the board as a stick. Let me see. Okay. Let's go to this one. See the gang on the other side of this big pile of junk, but you're not going to be able to get to them from this end. If you had more legs, you'd be able to pick your way through it. Like a spider. So we have two options then. We either engage with them or we let out the spider. If we let out the spider, maybe it'll help us. That's my way, I think. Let's do it. Tunnel behind this opening goes straight up. There's no way to get through it unless you're a huge spider. Oh, I'll let him do his thing. Coffee guy. Hear a horrible skittering noise, followed by a scream, followed by more horrible skittering noises, followed by more screams, followed by some rapid noises, followed by some muffled screams. Then there's more skittering, and silence. So the bandits are dead. We can still confront the spider. Let's go ahead. Look at them go. The gang has been prepped for spider consumption. We can arrest them from there. Danger kitchen. Danger bar. Empty bottles. Looks like it needs a new bartender. Wait, where did I... There we go. He had a jaw heart in his pocket. Maybe they killed him for being the jaw heart too. Understandable. You can plug it. Just plunking my twinkle. Oh god, it just keeps going. Few bottles left on the shelf. Bunch of alcohol. The poor chef is chained to a wall. His eyes widen as you approach. Hey, you're not one of them. You're here to rescue me. Sure. Thank goodness. He thrusts his hand into yours and shakes vigorously. I'm Doug. Fozzie. How do you do, Doug? I've been chained up to this dank cave for weeks, cooking for those stripey-hatted idiots. Sounds awful. Oh no, the worst part. It's a perfectly good oven 8 feet to my right, and a shelf of perfectly good ingredients 8 feet to my left. How's that the worst part? The chain is only 4 feet long. That's rough. I know, right? There I was, fresh out of culinary school, with the millionth meat idea in my head. Now here I am, 4 feet shy of my dreams, making the same pot of soup over and over again. What's your idea? You promise not to steal my idea, right? Okay then, it's a new kind of sandwich, or maybe a taco. It's so revolutionary that I'm not quite sure where it fits in the whole hand food taxonomy, to be honest. Anyway, in the middle of it is a sausage, but it's sausage made from the cheapest possible parts of a pig, cut up so finely that you can't identify them anymore. It's served in a long split roll, which soaks up the grease so you can't tell how fatty the sausage is. And the best part? The name. You already hear the name. Call it the hot dog. What do you think? It sounds great. He beams. Thanks. Not that any of this even matters. Even if I did get off this chain, there's no point in hanging around this empty cave making hot dogs just for myself. I don't even like the taste of them. I should set up shop in Dirtwater. Brilliant! You're a genius, Fozzie. Hot dogs for sale all day, every day. I'll make a mint. Say, there's an idea. What if I added mint to the sausage mixture? You help him break his chains. He leaves the cave, hauling the oven and the shelf full of ingredients, muttering to himself about new sausage recipes. Good guy. Well, let's skedaddle. Stack the cocoons on the back of your horse, except for one which Alice carries in her medical bag. He was smaller than he looked, and head back to Dirtwater Jail. Is that the stripy hat game? What happened to him? Had a run-in with Giant Spider. Giant Spider Justice. Fortunately, the reward is for results rather than explanations. Look at him go. Ah, I guess we killed the Desert House game. Well, certainly is a bag of severed ears and teeth and such. Which gang was this? Take your word for it. Anything else? Just want to say hi. Hi. Guess we're getting back to work. She coughs as if to say she should be doing something more important. She didn't put the ears in the cell? Yet another wanted poster. Lots of criminals around these parts. Poster says wanted, black hat bandits, horse theft and selling of counterfeit glue. Last seen heading north towards Old Millinery. No good if you come up with criminals with access to hat-making machinery. Would you like to go investigate? Millinery. It's a good word. Poster reads, wanted the Potemkin game for unlicensed civil engineering of flaunting construction regulations. Last seen in an unregistered settlement north of Dirtwater, which is the location of the city the gang is hiding in. I've released hot dogs into this world, you monster. Oh no. Oh, he built up an entire store already. Howdy, Doug. Name my savior, good old Fozzie. Howdy yourself. Outside. Yeah, I had to change the name. Tried to file a trademark, and it turns out there's already something called a hot dog. What is it? Trust me, you don't want to know. I wish I didn't know. Anyway, single letter removed. I'm in business. Gestures at the menu on the wall behind him. Exactly enough sausage and exactly enough bun to qualify as a hot dog. Perfectly efficient. Thick, sturdy hot dog for a thick, sturdy cowboy. Hot dog has been embellished with a zesty sauce. It's just regular old mustard. Let's see. It's a lot of statage. Let's Speaking of status, I haven't leveled up in a while. Get a little bit of each, just so we stay the defense up. Some more max HP. More melee attack damage. Call that good. Mustard would be exciting at this point in time. Yeah, for sure. Nothing new happening here. Right, salt. That's the kitchen. I know I had some quest that I've forgotten about. Got the saltpeter. That's the stuff, thanks. Next thing I'll need is a certain kind of hot pepper. It's called a murder pepper, because it's really spicy. Because it literally has a knife and kills people who ask dumb questions. Go in the area outside town. You should be able to find one if you just wander around a while. Let's see. What's that, Lloyd? Need any help? Alright, let's do some wandering. Catch a whiff of something that makes your eyes water. Taste of its source, a vividly covered red shape hanging from a scraggly little plant. It must be the southeast-western murder pepper that fella at the jewel was looking for. Finger and thumb immediately start throbbing as you pluck the pepper. Toss it in your rucksack before it can do any more damage. Thought it'd be actually fighting it, honestly. Yeah, I was thinking you could probably find new areas, if we didn't figure out where the Butterfield Ranch was and we wandered here, maybe we might find it. Random encounters too. That's good to know. Right, he's at the saloon. Those controls are a bit jank. I'm not gonna do that. Did you find me a murder pepper? Ah, nice big one. That'll last a while. Good going. Still looking for stuff to do. So I'm gonna go check my mail. Ordered a new saute knife, but I haven't got time to fetch it myself. All the random encounters are great. Okay, I'll have to do that a little. Sponsored by LT&T. Open the box and a torn junk mail falls out to reveal a knife just sitting loose in the box. Seems safe. Here you go. It'll work a lot better than that hammer I was using. Only need one more favor from you. It's most important. I used to have this recipe for a very secret jerk sauce. My jerk friend Dave J stole it from me. And then he died and took the secret to his grave. Literally. He was buried with it. Do you want me to dig it up? He's dead. He won't mind. He's got a point. And I've got a shovel. Alright, let's go visit old mate Dave. Out in the middle of the desert, you find an abandoned minecart, sitting on a section of minecart track about 12 feet long. It starts nowhere in particular and ends even less somewhere in particular. It's mostly full of plain old rocks, not even very interesting looking ones. However, if it left you without searching it thoroughly, Just end up driving yourself crazy later with the thought that you might have missed something valuable. So spend a good half an hour inspecting rocks and eventually find one that might be worth something. Heck yeah. So we're looking for Dave J. Dig out the grave and pry open the coffin. Instead of a corpse, it contains a garbage bag? Strange. Reach into the garbage bag and are surprised that I find that it's full of pudding. No, it's not just pudding. It's pudding and motor oil. Who would do this? Finally managed to reach all the way down to the bottom of the bag and retrieve a sodden lump from the bottom. You can glob the wad and dry it off, then wash your arm in a nearby ditch. It's better be worth it. Is that his secret sauce? Pudding and motor oil? You encounter an overturned wagon surrounded by ruined books and broken pairs of spectacles. Looks like a family of especially literate homesteaders met an untimely end here. Tragic. Pour over the detritus and manage to find exactly one book that's both undestroyed and remotely interesting to you. Advanced how much? Nice. Can we read the sauce? Stir it, abracadabra, rapapapow. Complex pronunciation guide written by a linguist who was raised by cows. His menacing moo reduces muscle opponents. Chapter about adapting stampeding behaviors. Bull stomp, small amount of damage. Essay about doing particular kind of sit-ups to make your abs really thick. Maximum HP. So we got Splash. We got a debuff. And we got health buff. I feel like we got Doc to do AoE for us, so maybe not Stomp. I feel like Menacing Moo would probably get more use, though I guess it's just muscle, not Moxie or Mystic. So maybe we'll go with Brawny. Read the book while doing 10,000 sit-ups. After you're done, you tear the book in half as a testament to your newfound strength. Hey buddy, got that recipe yet? The one my jerk friend Dave J took to his grave? Hey, thanks Mill, buddy. And my slop will be world famous. Let me give you a little something for all your trouble. Fell in the slop, but it's still good. Sloppy hat. Rubber hats are rugged and durable, but ruggedness and durability only goes so far in the case of catastrophic culinary carelessness. Oh yeah. We sloppy. Does J stands for jerk? I mean, I guess. My jerk friend Dave Jerk. How's it going, Yum Yums? How's your day been? Wait, we can use the cow's blood. Also by 11, HP 25, but you shouldn't drink it. Oh boy. Dave Slop. Wait, does that make his slop actually better? Oh, can't buy anywhere. I'll speed up, partner. What should we do next? Click to find off the lay of the land. I guess the railroad crew would find a fairly literal interpretation. Or the millenary bandits. Well, let's go to the railroad. Sounds like a good idea. It's way up there. nearby cloud of dust turns out to be a bandit on a horse, riding hell for leather for unknown reasons. Well, I know them, but you don't. You pull your horse up alongside hers and match your speed. Hi, what's up? Where's the fire? Get bent and or lost. I'll get neither. Ooh, speedy lady. Jeez, we hit hard against this lady. Solid 25. Easy. Is it selling needles? I don't think it was. If it was, I think I would have bought some. Maybe we'll check again after this. Quick recommend for upgrading your beef up. Was that something I could upgrade? I'll have to check that out. Beat up the bandit and take her presumably ill-gotten meat, as well as your fancy speed enchanted boots. Odd she wasn't taking advantage of them. Maybe she misread the label and assumed your horse would go faster too. So we got a pistol. Not quite as good. Extra speedy. Ooh, good for dodge. I think that'll be better. You can upgrade the skills. I see. Ah, yeah, beef up right there. Oh, I got plenty. Let's do it. Oh, it doubles each time, eh? Yeah, it's gonna be huge. What else we got? Let's do Intimidate. In case we get to talk to somebody who needs it. Plane won't make the train go any faster. The old metal bull, yep. Good old bronze leviathan. Good old steel tramp, steel steamer, coal shark, piston leviathan, steam hippopotamus, tin tramp. Let's see. I should never put in charge of a switch. He's too busy playing with his watch to get any work done. Say, that's a nice watch. Where'd you get it? Bought it from this gal who runs a store down south of here. Name of Buttonwillow. Buttonwillow makes something. Where's the store? Oh, you can't miss it. It's right in between a cactus and a different cactus. Thanks. Don't mention it, dude. Don't mention it, mention it. I think I'll mention it. Not really, thanks a lot. Sure, don't mention it. I mean it, I really appreciate you telling me where that store is. Really, it's no trouble at all. Don't mention it. I mean it. Run out of ways to thank you, but I really do want you to know that I'm very grateful for your help. Do not mention it. Okay, don't mention it. She's not getting much track laid, but she's an expert whistler. Approach the beleaguered-looking man with the tiny glasses. Howdy there. Who's in charge of this outfit? If I'm being charitable, I'd say it's the fellow over there in the white hat. He's the foreman. Points at the man next to a huge pile of rocks. And if you're not being charitable, then I see that paperback idiot over there in the absurd white hat is the fellow you're looking for. Hi, you in charge? Wonder if there's anything I can do to help. Want to know something? I love trains. Ever since I was a little boy, huge, magnificent, roaring iron beasts. They were magical to me, like dragons. When the opportunity arose to take on a management rail line, I jumped on it like a shot. You know what I learned? Organizing and building and running one of these operations is the most amazing pain in the ass you'll ever imagine. You want to help? Congratulations, you're the new foreman. I'm going home to play with my marbles. Well, I'm the sheriff around these parts. Guess I'm the boss now. Well now, suppose you can't be any worse than that last clown. Name's Smee. I'm your assistant. What's the situation? I'm sure you didn't miss seeing this giant pile of rocks blocking our path. Surveys say there isn't any other suitable mountain pass, so can't reroute around it even if we had months to take. Any ideas? Well, by my calculations, we could dynamite it clear without too much trouble. Problem is, it'll take a lot of dynamite. Whole year's worth, I figure. We used to keep that much on hand for emergencies just such as this one. A pack of goblins stole it all. Sneaky little varmints. Get it done. Glad to hear it. Goblins are holed up over in Gustavson Gulch. It's a real rough place. I want to spend some time getting the lay of the land and hone your fighting skills before you head that way. Especially if you plan to go in guns blazing. You don't need that specific dynamite though. Any you can lay your hands on will be fine, as long as there's enough of it. I see. What do you gotta say about this partner? You'd think they'd have surveyed the route and had planned for this already. Get the feeling this operation runs more on enthusiasm than foresight. Agreed. Okay. Let's head to this. No, we'll do the gulch, then the store, and we'll head back. See a streak of fire blast across the sky and land just over the horizon. Right at the site of the impact and find a meteor. 619, wow. Hey, it's Goblin Boy. Fancily dressed Goblin steps forward. Hi, hello. Being a mayor, welcome. Now going away, please. Goblin seems friendly, but blocks your entry into the gulch. Can I not coming in? Sorry, only for Goblins being very private. Roll up your sleeves to show your bulging arm muscles. Goblin's either unimpressed or doesn't recognize the menace in the gesture. So you pick him up and toss him over the wall of the gorge. Well, there he goes. Sign says nothing interesting in Goblin. You hear quiet rustling as a single goblin were rummaging through a crate filled with straw. Let's go beat him up. Ooh, he's got a lot of moxie. Just instant kills Doc. What a weird dude. Made that trigger happy goblin trigger sad instead. Digs through the crates the goblin's rummaging through, but there's nothing interesting. Guess I should have known. Library. Listen at the door, it's quiet. The shack is filled with crude bookshelves. Bookshelves, in turn, are filled with crude books. So very complicated numbers, how the bird knows. Alice going into a C in class. Let's look at the complicated numbers. All you can tell about this book is that it concerns extremely high-level mathematics. You don't have the vocabulary to understand any of it. You probably still wouldn't if it was written in English. Your brother would probably love it. Bird noise. This book is an extremely detailed treatise on the sounds that different birds make. Probably wouldn't expect to learn how to do an accurate great crested grebe impression from a book, but that's how detailed it is. This popular children's novel has been translated into Goblin. Jabberwocky still reads pretty much the same. Oh, it brillig being in toves of slithing did in a wabe gyring and also gimbling. I see. Right, I want to read the sign. Delicatessen. Gimbling is a weird word, it sure is. Delicatessen. Don't hear anything. Rats, looks like the door is locked. Dang. Storage. The shack's filled with thousands of tiny cabinets, each labeled with a number in Goblin. Random, more random, or even randomer. Let's do more random. There's nothing in the drawer, but you find an old lollipop stuck to the bottom of the drawer above it. car is a sandwich. Must have been filed under sandwich. Sounds like a rolled up pair of terrible pants. Still nothing. Surely at one point there will be something. Wait, what's this? Nope, nothing. False alarm. Eureka! There we go. That's definitely the last one you say. I mean it, nothing left. I'm skeptical. Okay. So we got a pistol. 1 to 15. So it's like double or nothing, quite literally. What the heck? Let's do it. So that's his red herring storage. Here a couple of goblins are wrestling about in there. Sounds like they're doing something really important. But it's a red herring. Never really using ranged weapons to pass the stat increase is probably better. Yeah, probably. Ooh, bunch of wizards. Got hella HP. Fish wizards, yeah. As opposed to beam wizards. That's not too bad. He just throws syringes at me. Thanks, Doc. It was fishmongering goblins what for? Turns out to just be filled with rotting fish, naturally. Mayor's house. I mean, we threw away the mayor. Let's look at the bed. It's made of cactus logs. Blanket made of woven together cactus needles. Oops. What about the desk? Desk is strewn with folders. One says important secrets. Hidden a variety of secrets, though the only one that actually pertinent to your circumstances is that there's a spare key to the treasure cave in drawer 69105. The storage hut. Cool. Theater. Expect to hear someone delivering what sounds like lines from Hamlet, except for Goblin tongue. From the vantage point, you also notice a sign next to the door reading "Backstage Entries Here It Being," with an arrow pointing to the back of the building. Let's go backstage. We sneak backstage and watch the play from behind a curtain. Not only is it a Goblin version of Hamlet, it's also been rewritten as a one-man show. To being or not to being? Oh, that is a question. Could it better thinking to suffer crazy things and arrows, or fighting so many bad things, for stopping them because fighting? To dying, to sleeping hay, dreaming maybe. But, oh, problems. If dreaming crazy when living, what dreams having after dying? Wow, pretty weird, probably. Bits where the actor has to do a sword fight with themselves are pretty entertaining. I'd pay to watch that. Oh, I can't go in and beat the guy? Okay. Cafe? Looks like the door is locked. Dang. Guard barracks. Sounds a bit dangerous. Maybe we'll leave him be for now. Treasure cave. This door to remaining locked at all times. Nope. Goblins paying more attention to their book, Goblet, than to you. They're pretty sure you're not going to just let you walk on. We'll spoil the book. Hey Goblet, good book. But thinking about how Goratio is only surviving one and everyone else dying. Poisoning, swording, pow blam. Ah, no, wow, spoilers. Guard runs out of the cave with their hands over their ears. Poor guy. This goblin guard is whittling a little wooden bird call, but they're not too busy to beat you up if you try to get past them. I mean, we know how to bird call now. You duck behind a stalagmite and do your great crested grieve impression. Oh, gasp! Great crested grieve, wow! The guy pulls a pair of binoculars out of his uniform and runs out of the cave. I like the other two guards. This one's being very attentive. Seems very suspicious of you. Also unlike the other two guards, they have a name tag that says Gene. Let's go Gene. Let's see. High muscle. Only do 1 damage with melee. I see. Yikes. There's a lot of muscle too. Come on, you do great crested grieve impression. I don't know if I know what a grieve sounds like. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can take this guy. Oh. Okay, he does 31 damage. I have 65 health. Give him 1 shot. 17. Yeah, I don't think we stand a chance at this point, eh? Yeah, no, there's no way. Let's get out of here. You lost. Gene kicks your butt all the way out of the cave. Wait, that made us double angry. Isn't that a bad thing? Oh, if you get higher than 2. I see. Mysticality, reduce muscle, Moxie. Moxie, reduce muscle, Mysticality. I see. I think maybe this one's better. So we just kind of hit 1 over and over there. So I'm assuming these guards and that guard are a little high level. So we'll probably come back for that. It's main story stuff, yeah. I also want to get back to the shop, see if we can get needles, maybe from this lady. There's a bunch of lockboxes there. Shovel laden with various goods. Barrel smells like pickles and looks like an empty pickle barrel. First you're excited because you think this barrel is full of pickles, but they turn out to be novelty rubber pickles. No. The woman behind the counter stares at you with a huge grin on her face. She gestures at the goods she's got for sale. Rope. Might come handy. Is this a lubricant or a lubricant? Both in a sense, because if it's a can, lubricant. Wow. Maybe not this one. Mind your meat. Predicament. That could be handy. It's 1500 though. Got a needle, only 1 though. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you shouldn't use this to either of us. Let's see. Some handy stuff. Guess I'll buy the things that there's only 1 of. This might come in handy. Yeah, we'll do the cow punching too. I feel like stuff like hammer and pickaxe could be handy. Binoculars, probably not so much, because then I could just wander. I have to remember these are here. Alright, what do we got? Thick skin. Skill increases your armor. Guys, right, 17 different near-fatal gorings. Skill lets you attack an entire row. Article about punching people so hard they stop moving. Deals damage and briefly stuns. The earlier you get, the less backtracking you have to do. Yeah. Like I had the shovel from before, I didn't have to go back and forth between things. So got a stun, a splash, or armor. I feel like a stun would be pretty good. The advanced punching techniques, practice for a while with punching a cactus. Fortunately, by the time you're done practicing, you splattered the book with cactus juice, ruining it. Aww. Guess we can keep going with beef up. A bit of grit. Head back to town. Check the shop there. An old mine on the horizon. Neat. It's kind of far away. Let's see. Yeah, no, he didn't have any. Does have dynamite though. Maybe it's real cheap, may as well. Tooth powder. Myself and cow punching. I feel like that's probably a good investment. What do we got? Anything cool? Big poster can fold up and practice punching. 3 punch attacks in quick succession. Thick skin again. Menacing mood reduces the muscle again. So, pretty much a big hit. Or stuff that makes me take less damage. I think probably 1-2 would be pretty nice, just to be able to hit a little harder. Because we're getting to the point where things are just like a little bit of life left. Unfortunately, not very good at stopping punching, and you punch the books to bits. Oh no. Good old beef up into 1-2-3 at C-Spammed. Ah yeah. Seems like a solid choice. So we got costs 3 AP. One thing better than hitting an enemy once is hitting an enemy several times. So we actually need more AP to use that, I think. Just gotta get some gumption. Here. No, here. Alright, I feel like that's a pretty good place to call it for tonight. We just hit 10. And we're well on our way. Gotta get our dynamite. Got a few more other miscellaneous quests. It's been good. I've enjoyed this. I'll definitely be back with it some more later. Yeah, thank you for hanging out. It's been good. It's a good recommendation. So, what's our schedule like? It is Sunday, so tomorrow's off. We'll be back on Tuesday. Probably play Final Fantasy. Unless I don't feel like Final Fantasy, then I'll probably play this game. So we'll see. How many games can Tyler make flippers play without redeeming channel points? A lot, honestly. the points reward is only there for people who are really gutsy. Like, honestly, I always preface it with saying, I'm happy to play the games you like to play. Like, part of the reason I did this whole thing with streaming, you know, is one, to share games I like with people who won't play them. Two, to just have fun and have a reason to actually play games. And three, to play games that people like and have a reason to play the games that people like. And so, you know, it's interesting for you guys. Like, you know, I wanted to play Yume Nikki, but I also played it so that Slime could see it because he really likes that game, and I'm sure he'd like to see what I think about it. And same deal with Undertale in this game and all that. That's a good way to sort of expand my horizons, you see. But yeah, anyways, let's see if we got anyone to raid. What we got? Ooh, D-Sake is back up playing Breath of the Wild. That'll be fun. Send you guys on over that way. It's not often you see D playing something that isn't Fortnite, so it'll be fun. Anyways, thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see y'all in 2 days.
Dollar do.